Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm your host Anu Khanna, and I'm today joined by Andrew Wood from UPS. Andrew, so much thank you for joining us. Would you like to kick us off with a brief background of who you are and what you do?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show. My name's Andrew Wood. I'm a proud father of three, a husband, and a business owner. I have a couple of businesses, but I suppose my journey, if has to probably really start from right from the beginning, if that's okay to share.
Yes, please.
So I grew up not doing very well in school. I got expelled, suspended from most schools that I was in. Always mixed with the wrong crowds. We moved a lot as a family through my dad's or stepdad's work. And it was only found that I had dyslexia quite late on in my school career. So I struggled a lot in school, didn't finish with any GCSEs. Those struggles carried on into a sort of early adulthood, I suppose. I got kicked out at 17 because my mum and dad couldn't deal with me anymore. I couldn't deal with my behaviour, so effectively homeless at 17. And unfortunately, I ended up in jail by the time I was 19. Just going into my 20th, just before my 20th birthday, which again, everyone around me, my parents, always told me that that's where I'd end up, and I proved them right in a way, which I'm not proud of. But the years from sort of 17 to leading up into going to jail was just surviving. I was homeless. I had to find a way to pay the rent, which, as I say, ended up in with me going to prison. It was a real changing point that for me. I think when you go to prison, you can either learn from your peers and people that are in the jail to do bad things better, or you can go, this isn't the life for me and I want to turn my life around. I certainly, from the very first day that I went to jail, decided that I would turn my life around. I did everything that the prison service offered me. I became a teacher in woodwork for the first sort of 6-7 months that I was in prison for. And then through good behaviour, I went to another prison called Thorn Cross, who did a boot camp, which taught you disciplines. It allowed you to resit your GCSEs. We did Duke of Edinburgh. And at the last part of that boot camp, they actually got you a job that you did Monday to Friday, and then you went back to jail at the weekend if you passed all the relevant parts of the 12-week boot camp. The job that the prison service got me was with a building and maintenance company called Jackson Wide. I'll never forget going to my interview in my prison uniform. But I was very grateful to that man. He gave me my first chance. And it was, I never thought I would get that chance. So to me, he was God. He opened the gates at 6:30 in the morning. I was there opening the gates with him. And that sort of carried on for certainly the full 6 weeks of my program. And I was very lucky at the end of those 6 weeks, he offered me a job. And that was sort of my career for the next sort of 7 to 8 years. I stayed with that company and probably could have stayed with that company forever, but the owner decided to sell the business and he sold it to, he sold the business. He left the business and I just didn't like the way it was going and felt it was time to sell up. To set my own business up. So that was in 2007. Along those years, I started as a labourer, worked my way up to a joiner, worked my way up to a manager, put myself through night school to do HMD again for someone with dyslexia. That was very hard. But I want to emphasise, if you focus your mind and you really want something, you can achieve it. And that's a real strong message that I want to get out. I really do believe no matter what your circumstances, you look at mine, homeless at 17, jail at 19, can't read and write properly, But when you find your passion and you really want to turn your life around, you will do whatever it takes to be succeed. I must admit, I had some real strong drivers in my life, which was to prove my family wrong. It was to not go back to jail. So I did have to reach rock bottom for me to be able to find myself to move forward and get the best out of myself. But I don't think everyone has to do that, you know. But if you are in, if there is any viewers that are in that, or they have maybe sons and daughters that might be going through whatever, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve if you really put your mind to it. I'm a real strong believer.
What a story, Andrew. What a story. I was getting goosebumps just listening to you. And first of all, thank you for your vulnerability to share that. 17 homeless, went to prison, and how you have turned around your life. You're a very successful business owner now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Got to admit, yes. Yes.
You are very successful. And how many employees do you have in your business now? 7.
So we currently have about 70 employees. Yeah. So we've built that from nothing. When I decided to set UPS up, it was a real simple goal of doing a job right first time, giving the customer a good experience and trying to get it right first time with no snags. And it's something that we still sort of believe in today. It's one of our core values. But that just started with me and an apprentice. The first 10 years, I'm not going to lie, were extremely hard, as I'm sure it is for anyone who sets the business up from nothing. You wear every single hat. You're going out during the day working, you're at night, you're invoicing, you've got your HR hat on, you name it. But I think they're the best years in business because it teaches you everything that you need to know.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and go on, sorry.
No, amazingly well done. So, for our audience who's listening out there,
Yeah,
you said that was a clear focus. When you really want to achieve something, you achieve it.
yeah.
But how? Someone who's been through anything similar to like yourself, who's had a tough upbringing or a tough life, dyslexia, cannot read or write, and to turn that around and become so successful. You have 70 staff, you're a multimillionaire. If you come down to the core, what was it? What is it that kept you moving forward, that clear focus and drive?
I think for me, and I know it's might not be the answer that everyone's looking, but for me, it was reaching rock bottom. It was a choice of, do I want to continue down this path and be in and out of jail, or do I want to prove everybody wrong that I
Mm.
can be someone? And that was the real driving force for me to go to jail and have to be in that situation where everyone said that I would end up.
Mm.
That inner strength comes and still is there to this day. It still keeps me humble to this day because I don't want to return to that place where I've been, and so it still keeps my passion and focus today. It's just that things switch. There's when you start having a little bit of success, your focus has changed to your team and mentoring your team and our why is changing lives for the better for our customers, but it's not just for changing lives with our customers, it's with our employees, it's with our team. And I get a real great buzz from mentoring the team and working with the team. It allows me to focus on others and not just myself. And I'll be honest, the first 10 years of the business was about proving others wrong for me.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my drive and the passion from.
No, great. You talked about this drive, this inner strength. So if someone who's listening is at their very rock bottom, things are not going right, things are not how they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
How does someone find that inner strength? What would it take to yeah, get it out?
I think it is mental. I think, as in my experience, that human beings, we always put ourselves down. We always sometimes focus, not always, but we can focus on the negatives. We can focus on our situation. It's very easy for me to blame my past as to why I can't be successful.
Mhm.
Very easy. But for me, it was turning and I think this is an important part. my story that I'm telling you now, I'd have never told anyone. The first 10 years in business, I was scared to tell anyone that I'd been to jail. They won't work with me if I've been
Yeah.
to jail. They won't work with me if they know that my past had drugs in it, or they, that they wouldn't want to associate with me. But I actually use it now to my strength. It's a story that I'm not saying I'm proud of my past, but it had to happen for me to be able to get to where I am today. And the reason I think it's mental is that if you can train your brain so that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve, literally anything. I'm dyslexic. I still struggle with reading and writing today, but it's not essential. There's so much technology out there that can help you. With AI coming into play as well, with Grammarly I use in the background of my apps to make sure when I send an email that it makes sense. There's so much technology out there, but first and foremost, it's about getting inside your own mind, setting goals, setting targets, and it's those small wins, compound small wins. If your first goal is just to get out of bed every day, you tick it off. And when you start doing those little wins and you keep ticking them off, you start to feel more confident about yourself. For me, it's setting small goals first that are achievable. If you set a goal, I'm going to be a multimillionaire as your first goal, I'd arguably say it's not going to be achievable. But wherever you are in your stage of business or life, you set those small little goals first, and just putting those little ticks each week builds that confidence, builds that strength to be able to, change your goals.
Yes, absolutely. It's these marginal gains that create that compound effect.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, really well said. Just going back to what you just said a while back, you said you've never shared this story with anyone because you just wasn't able to. But now it you're openly sharing it because mentally somewhere you had this acceptance of yourself.
Yeah.
So how much does accepting, your past, where you are, plays a role in this?
I think so. I think, again, the first 10 years of business was running around like a crazy fool, trying to do everything and trying to, doing it for the wrong reasons to prove people wrong. Certainly, the next 7 years of business have been a lot more enjoyable by accepting it's not about proving people wrong anymore. It's about trying to build a good business with good people, employing people that are better than you. Others, when, again, the first 10 years, I would think that no one else could do. I have to do everything because no one else can do it. Plus, when you start a business, as you don't have the resources necessarily to employ the people that you need to employ. So you kind of have to do everything, which I'm still glad I did because you make so many mistakes in those years. But once you get past that certain level, then you've got to be able to, exactly like you just said, you've got to be able to accept your past, accept that it's not about proving people wrong anymore. You've done that, move on and start getting a team together, employ people that are better than you, the stuff that you're not very good at, and keep your own strengths. And I think my personal strength is I'm a people person. The team, I'm in construction, so the lads can relate with me because I've done their job. I've never asked them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. I can relate to the managers that are in my team, or everyone in my team really can connect with my story, and we all use it as a strength, I think.
Amazing. And this strength that you talk about, the inner strength, the mental strength, does that come from acceptance, or is it the other way around that when you have acceptance, then you get more mental and emotional strength?
I think a bit of both. I think the strength has more so come once you accept it, and you accept it for what it is, and you feel that you can share that story. Um, because I think in before you accept it, you're doing things kind of a little bit for the wrong reasons, as in to prove people wrong. It shouldn't be about proving people wrong. It should be about proving yourself.
Yeah.
That's the main person. Then your family, then your teammates. So yeah, I think after the acceptance for sure.
Yes, no, very good. Thank you, Andrew. You also talked about dyslexia.
Yes.
And then, there is some sort of innate creativity in people who have any sort of dyslexia or ADHD. Uh, the strength is enormous. The resilience becomes enormous. Have you felt that? Were you able to channelize this internal strength as well?
I think so. Again, um, it was easy, or not easy. It's not the right word. When I was young, I just didn't know what it was. Didn't know why I couldn't concentrate in classes. You didn't know why, things wouldn't sink in. It just wasn't understood. But what I've been able to do is focus on what my strengths are, and again finding something. Oh, what I've been able to do is understand what my weaknesses are and understand what my strengths are,
Mm.
and that's been a real help. And again, when you find something that you're passionate about and that you really enjoy and you get a great buzz from, it doesn't become learning then. If you've got a passion to want to go and learn it.
Hmm.
Whereas you're in school and you're doing all these different things that your brain can't focus on. I almost think for people that have these things, there almost needs to be a different curriculum for them. I think they'd excel much better.
Yes. Yes, and you so rightly said there perhaps should be a special curriculum for them. And this is something that we should all move towards as a society,
Yeah,
to really take care of these people and help them to bloom,
yeah,
really bring the best out of them. And another golden nugget you shared, Andrew, really about building on your strengths.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, really good. So anyone who's listening to you who has got dyslexia,
yeah.
and is currently not aware really, what am I good at and where are my strengths? What would your advice to be to those people?
Well, I think for me, the first one is to try and find something that you're passionate about. If you can find something that you've got a real passion for, um, and if you find something that then therefore you have a passion, you're more inclined to really push yourself to learn about it, to become an expert in it. I think going back to maybe slightly the business side of things, there's one thing that when we first set our business up, for the first 10 years, we would do anything or anything that anyone gave us. We didn't specialize in anything. We were just, we'll have work, we'll have work, we'll have work. And we were always just a subcontractor to a main contractor. And it took 10 years of making mistakes, doing good work for other people and not getting recognized for it, being on crazy payment terms. It wasn't until we sort of said, let's sit down and think about this properly. We need to specialize in one thing, become an expert at it, have a real passion for it, be able to give good testimonials, what we're doing, good case studies. And that for us was adaptations. I'll never forget the first one that we did for an elderly lady that had been waiting 3 years to get her wet room done. And when we did it, she said how much that it changed her life. And that's where we made our why of changing lives for the better. And that's when our business really took off, when we focused on one thing, we branded ourselves, we then started tendering for work that was just specialised in that sector, and we started to win work, and we really started to take growth on them when we did focus on that one thing.
Oh, fantastic. Really good. So besides, growing your business where you have built strength to strength, what are you mostly proud of? What would you say is your biggest achievement, especially, where you come from? What are you mostly proud of, Andrew?
So I think it's the team that I work with every day. It really is. It gives me that drive to get up and come in with a lot of my team or 80% of my team are people that have worked from almost day one, been on the tools, worked up into a foreman's role, then a site supervisor's role, then a manager, now contract manager, and it's really great to see their progress. I love having youth in the business. We love working with apprentices. We really love making that building blocks and progression line for people to grow. I love it. It gives me a real buzz when people grow in the business. I know it's probably a bit of a cliche thing because people say businesses shouldn't be family, they should be teams, but we've got three working husband and wives partnerships in our business. We've got three sons of managers, including my own son, working in the business. Although we are a team, we do really have that family vibe, and I love it.
Fantastic. It sounds like a great place to work, Andrew.
You can come if you want.
Yes, for audience who's looking out there, we have a great place to work here with Andrew Wood. Yeah, and Andrew, on parting note, anything else you would like to share with someone who's going through a tough time or who's got dyslexia? What would be your parting note to them? What's the first thing that they should do?
Um, I think if I go back to if there is anyone that has been through the prison system and is struggling of which way to go, because I really do think it's either left or right, please click right. You take all the anything that the prison service offers you, whether it's training, GCSEs, whatever it might be, take it and find something that you've got a real passion for. If I can do it, you can do it. And like I say, you set those small little goals, they'll compound, and they'll get, those goals can get bigger and bigger each week, each month, and you can achieve it. And in regards to dyslexia again, um, I think people with dyslexia, ADHD, have got just as much potential as anybody else. You look at Richard Branson as the great example for someone with dyslexia. He's shown that he can do it. He's built multi-billion-dollar empires, and he still doesn't know how to read a spreadsheet. I get that, but if you've got that creativity, you've just got to find a use or a passion to put that to best use, and it's up to you to get into the mindset. No one's going to do it for you. You've got to do it yourself, and it's achievable. I promise you, it's achievable. If I can do it, no one can do it.
Amazing. Andrew, thank you so much. You have shared some really golden nuggets. Thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial journey, completely self-made multimillionaire. Andrew, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.